Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Racha, Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, the Harawan Ban Yasharala of the Lions Den camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutations to the Sintiakian, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den camp of Yasharala here in Jacksonville, Florida. And now today I'll be coming out with a lesson titled, this lesson is, rock out with what the Lord Yahweh gave you, i.e. according to the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding, the level of light, the level of truth that he has given you. You rock out with what the Lord gave you. Like Jake like to say, like the saying goes, ride it till the wheels fall off. You rock out with the level of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and light that the Lord gave you of his word. And you rock out with that. And you ride that till the wheels fall off, till the Lord say, okay, I'm going to increase you. But rock out with what the Lord gave you. And also this lesson was inspired by my elder, Harawan Ban Yasharala of this camp. He was, I think it was either the first or second video he was doing on spiritual power, but he said something that caught my attention. He says, rock out with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's where the title of this lesson comes from. So, you rock out with the Lord. He always saying, you know what I'm saying, yo, we rocking. Man, rocking with Yahweh Shai. Rock with Yahweh. So rock out with what the Lord Yahweh gave you, i.e. the amount of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and light that he has given you. Rock out with it, because that's what the Lord gave you. It might not be as much as another brother, or it might be less than another brother, but the Lord still gave you yours. So rock out with it. You can't do nothing but increase and get better. But let's continue. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 4. Verse 7. It says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. So wisdom is a principal thing. It is the principal thing. It is the most important thing. It is very important. It's integral for us to get this wisdom, for us to get the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And with all your getting of the wisdom, make sure that you get the understanding of the wisdom that the Lord has given you, or that you are trying to obtain from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, or have already obtained from him. Make sure that you have the understanding of that wisdom, so that when you get ready to speak, when you get ready to teach, when you get ready to preach, you'll be able to rightly divide the word of truth. You'll be able to break down the words to have people have this word to reach whom it will have to reach, because it's all through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So when you're getting that wisdom, and in your getting of that wisdom, make sure that you get the understanding of that wisdom, so that you can accurately use that wisdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, so that you can correctly rock out with what the Lord Yahweh gave you in this truth, so that you can do the work, because every brother is a brick. That my elder always said, every brother is a brick. Every brother is a certain level of light in this truth. We all are working for that same penny. So, whatever the Lord gave you in this truth, and then you rock out with that until the Lord say, okay, I'm going to increase you. I'm going to increase you. But for the most part, in that, make sure that you get the understanding of the wisdom, and make sure that you know wisdom is the principal thing. It is the most important. And rocking out with Yahweh Shai, rocking out with Yahweh, rocking out with what the Lord gave you. But let's continue. Let's go to Sirach chapter 3. Sirach chapter 3, verse 21. It says, seek not out the things that are too hard for thee, neither search the things that are above thy strength. So when it comes down to the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, because there are some very deep, dark sayings of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And as we see, we have many examples of apostates and apologists, Edomite apologists, that travail with the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai as a woman in travail with birth. Meaning it pains them. They wrestle with the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai because they don't have the wisdom and they don't understand. and they're seeking out things that are too high. The Lord says, don't do that. He says, seek not out the things that are too hard for you to understand. And the things, and neither search the things that are above your strength. So when it comes down to this word, when it comes down to this truth, don't be seeking things that are above your pay grade, for lack of a better term. Like you in the middleweight division, don't jump into the heavyweight division think you finna stand in the paint and brawl with these heavy hitters, because it ain't gonna happen. The same thing with a featherweight or a lightweight. If you're a lightweight, there's no reason you're supposed to be in a middleweight class or trying to box on the middleweight class. Just to give you an analogy of not seeking the things out that are above your understanding. Whatever the Lord has given you according to His will and this truth, whatever wisdom and the level of wisdom and knowledge and understanding and light that the Lord has given you, hey, rock out with what the Lord gave you. Rock out with that. Ride that till the wheels fall off till He say, okay, I'm gonna increase you. Rock out with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Rock out with what the Lord gave you. So don't try to really deal with things that are too high for you to understand, or something that you can't quite grasp yet, because it may not be, it may not be the time for the Lord to reveal that unto you. And make sure that you ain't tackling topics that you can't that you don't really have, I would say, don't have down packed, I should say, for lack of a better term, because I don't want to do too much talking, But anything that's pretty much that's above your strength or above you, above your understanding, kind of just leave it off to, I won't say leave it alone, but kind of leave it, but leave it alone until the Lord give you an understanding, or He increases you for you to understand it, and then you'll be able to teach that as well. Verse 22, it says, but what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence. For it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are in secret. So we are to think on what is commanded of us by Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And in that we must think upon it with reverence, with respect and honor. Because we've seen the examples, numerous examples and continuing examples of those who think that they know something and they don't know anything. They seem to miss the point of Proverbs chapter 4. And in Sirach chapter 3 verse 21. We're supposed to think upon the things that the Lord has shown us with reverence, with honor, with respect. Because there's a lot, so sometimes it ain't needful for us to know everything, or for us to see with our eyes what's in secret. Sometimes it's best as we don't know. Sometimes, and other times it is good for us to know. But whatever the case, in any case, rock out with what the Lord gave you. Whatever level of wisdom that He has given you in this truth, you rock out with that. You be grateful with that until the Lord say, okay, I'm going to add unto you. And you think upon the things that you're supposed to think upon as commanded of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And those things that you think on that with reverence, with respect, with honor, with fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Let's go back to Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 16. 16:3. This says, commit thy works unto the Lord Yahweh, and thy thoughts shall be established. See, when you commit yourself, when you commit your works, you commit your actions, you allow Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to be in control. Your thoughts will be established, meaning the Lord will always guide you on what to do. When it comes down to teaching His word, He'll always guide you to something that you can rightly divide and that you can break down. You commit your actions, your works unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and He will establish your thoughts. He'll keep you on the right path. He'll keep you going right according to Him. And He'll also make sure that you don't make mistakes when it comes down to breaking down His word. Basically, as long as you rocking out with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua in truth and sincerity and humbleness, the Lord gonna establish you. He gonna make sure that you stay on the right path. Because you showing him you rocking out with him. And you do it in truth and sincerity. You do it in humbleness. And when you do that, your thoughts will be established in Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. This is how you rock out with what the Lord gave you. By being obedient to him. Showing that you appreciate the understanding, the level of understanding that he has given you personally. Let's continue. Let's go to Proverbs 15, verse 16. It says, better is little with the fear of the Lord Yahweh than great treasure and trouble therewith. So it's better for you to have a little bit with the fear of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua than great treasure and trouble therewith. So basically you could say it's better for you to have a little bit of knowledge or your little bit of wisdom, your little bit of understanding that the Lord has given you than to have great treasure, to have much wisdom and trouble therewith. Or you can also look at it this way. It's better to have a little bit possessions, it's better to have a little and have the fear and have the respect and the honor for Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua than to have millions of dollars, to have all of these possessions, and then you have trouble in your house. You having trouble in paradise, for lack of a better term. So, just to give you an example, in some cases it's better to have a little bit and be able to fear Yahweh Bashim Yahushua than to have a lot and don't have no respect. You know, let me see something. Here we go. This is Sirach, chapter 19, verse 24. He that hath small understanding and feareth Yahweh is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. So there you go. He that hath small understanding, he that is rocking out with the little bit that the Lord has given him, and he fears the Most High, is better than one that hath much wisdom, that can know a whole bunch of breakdowns, but he's transgressing the law of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So it's better to have a small understanding and fear the Most High than to have much wisdom and transgress the law of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Just to give you an example. So, you know, basically, rock out with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Rock out with what the Lord gave you. If he gave you a little bit, rock out with that. If he gave you a lot, rock out with that. It's just like this. But if he's giving you a lot, you have to be humble as well. You know, it is what it is. Like if he's giving you much, the greater you are, the higher up you are, the more humble you should become. You know, so rock out with what the Lord gave you, man. Go to Proverbs 25. And 16. It says, hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomited. So once you have found this honey, once you found the truth, you eat what is sufficient for you. You don't swallow a camel and strain out a gnat as these other House of Saul campers do. And these fly-by-nighter guys who pop up and call themselves King David and stuff like that without actually saying it. But if you have found honey, if you have found this truth, you eat what is sufficient for you. You know, unless you try to take in too much and you vomit up what you took in. I.e. meaning you start thinking that you can teach topics and doctrines that as it says in Sirach, Chapter 3, you start trying to teach things that are above your pay grade. You start trying to box above your weight class. And you may not necessarily be equipped by Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to do that. So once you find this honey, once you find this truth, you eat what is sufficient for you, and you rock out with what Yahweh Bashim Yahushua gave you. Because if you try to take in too much, guess what? You're going to vomit up that which you took in. So once you find this honey, you find this truth, you find this light, you take what is sufficient for you. You allow the Most High to give you the level of wisdom, the knowledge and understanding that He's going to give to you. And once He give that to you, you rock out with what the Lord gave you. You do your thing in this truth. Of course, you know you do it according to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. You do it in sincerity and in edification of the Akim and the few Akwathim that listen in, you know, and you be humble as the Lord requires you to be, and to respect your brothers, your Akim. So let's continue. Let's go to Romans chapter 12. Okay, Romans chapter 12. Verse 3. Of course, you know this is, have to make sure real quick. Always Paul to the Romans. This is Romans chapter 12, verse 3. It says, "For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as Yahweh hath dealt to every man the measure of faith." So we are not to think ourselves higher than who we are supposed to be. We're not to think ourselves to be something that we are not. We are not to think highly of ourselves, but we are to think soberly, according to the level of wisdom, the level of knowledge, the level of understanding, the level of faith that Yahweh has given to every man. Basically, rock out with Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and be on the level that He put you on. Stop rushing to increase riches, because if you try to rush to increase your riches, eventually you're going to come to want, i.e., you can look at it as wisdom. You can look at it as knowledge and understanding. As a matter of fact, let's go back to Proverbs. Let me see if I can find it. Just to give you an example of what I'm saying. Basically, rock out with what the Lord gave you. Don't think highly of yourself. Don't think too high of yourself, but think what you are commanded of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to think. Don't try to be something that's above your strength. Let's go back. Salakia. It's a precept that I'm looking for. Salakia, bear with me. I gotta find it. Salakia. Bear with me. I want to find this precept. Here we go. Let's go back. It says, okay, back at Romans 12 and 3. For I say, through the grace that is given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but think soberly, according as Yahweh hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. So again, we ain't supposed to be thinking too highly of ourselves in this. We're supposed to be thinking soberly according to Yahweh and the faith that the Heavenly Father has dealt or gave to every man. So here we go. We're supposed to think. We'll say we're supposed to think. We're supposed to stay humble. We ain't supposed to get all puffed up. Basically, rock out with what the Lord gave you. Let me see something. This is Proverbs. Okay, this is Proverbs 28. Verse. Yeah, we can look at it like this. This is Proverbs 28 and 20. It says, a faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent. So a faithful man will abound in blessings. A faithful man that's rocking out with Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua and not thinking too highly of himself, but thinking, you know what I'm saying, according to as Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua says to think, which is soberly, according to the measure of faith that the Lord has given to every man. You know, that faithful man, he's going to abound with blessings. But he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent. So basically, one that's trying to make himself increase in his truth and not rocking out at the level that Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua has given you, or not rocking out with what Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua has given you, i.e. trying to make yourself be on a level that the Lord may not have for you at the moment, basically trying to make yourself hasten to be rich, you're not going to be innocent. That's what's going to happen. You're going to turn into a tyrant. You're going to become you're already a novice starting out. You're just going to become a prideful novice who thinks that you know something that you don't know. It says in the scriptures, do not boast of the wisdom that you don't have, according to Sirach, just roughly paraphrasing. So we are not to think highly than of ourselves than what we're supposed to. We're supposed to stay humble. That's why I brought this Proverbs out. A faithful man shall abound with blessings. A humble man is going to abound in his truth of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. But he that hastens to be rich shall not be innocent. He that's trying to make himself be increased in his truth, in the wisdom and the knowledge of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. If you're hasting to be rich, i.e. trying to be on a level that you're not, guess what? You're not going to be innocent. You're not going to be found to be humble. Eventually, the Lord is going to look at it and he's going to show the congregation pride, because that's really what happens to these guys who try to put themselves up on the pedestal, i.e. hasted to be rich in this truth. The race is not given to the strong nor the swift, but he that endureth. And when you stay humble, that's when the Lord increase you. You stay faithful and you rock out with what the Lord gave you. That's when you abound with the blessings of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding. But when you're making haste to be rich, when you're trying to be in a position or put in a position that you really aren't equipped to be in and or to deal with, you're not going to be innocent. You're going to be looked at as a tyrant. You're going to be looked at pretty much as a nigger. You're going to be looked at as wicked, rebellious, hard-headed, hard-hearted. So rock out with what Yahweh gave you. Whatever wisdom and knowledge and understanding of his word that he has given you in this truth, rock out with that. Just rock out with it. It's more than enough. It's very beneficial. So rock out with what the Lord Yahweh gave you. And according to Romans, don't think too highly of yourself, because that's not something that you need to do, because we are just men at the end of the day, and our righteousness is as filthy rags in the eyes of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. So we could never do enough, so you should never ever think yourself higher than what you're supposed to. Just rock out with what the Lord gave you. That's all you got to do. In time, the Lord will increase you at his whim, or at his leisure. He'll increase you, not at your leisure. All right, let me see. Might as well keep it going. Verse 4. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so we are many members of one body. That body is of Mashiach Yahushua. Though we are many members, we don't have the same office. So what that means, we got to rock out what the Lord gave us. The foot can't do what the brain doing, because it's the foot. We'll say the heart can't do what the shoulder joint is doing, because it's the heart. That's a very important role. So the heart got to rock out. But let's continue. Salaki for the distractions. There's something going on. I don't know where it's at, but it keep throwing me off. But again, like I said, if you're the heart got to rock out on what the heart is supposed to do. The brain got to do what the brain's supposed to do. That shoulder joint got to do what the shoulder joint's supposed to do. You know. So if you're the brain, if you're the shoulder joint, if you're a heart, if you're a vein or a toenail, just rock out on your level. Just to give you some examples of an understanding. Whatever level the Lord got you on, just rock out on that level. It's nothing wrong with that. Just rock out on that level. The Lord will increase you eventually at his leisure, but you will nonetheless you will see that increase. And it'll show in your work. But let's continue. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so we being many are Salakia, one body in Hamashiach, and every one member of one another. So we are all connected to each other. We might be many members, but we are of one body, and that body is what? Hamashiach Yahushua. And every member is one of another, so we're connected. We all work together in unison, in sync. Verse 6, it says, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy. According to the portion of faith, or ministry, let us wait on our ministering. Or he that teacheth on teaching, or he that exhorteth on exhortation. He that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth, with diligence. He that showeth mercy, with cheerfulness. So there you go. We all have different gifts according to the grace that is given us by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Some brothers are, what I'm saying, we all prophesy, but some brothers, the Lord has given them a little bit more, so they're able to go into a lot more deeper prophecies, you know. And we also must prophesy according to the portion of faith that we have been given of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So basically, rock out with what the Lord gave you. Just rock out with that, you know. But when it comes down to ministering, if you wait on your ministry, basically wait for the Lord to increase you. Wait for Him to give you your ministry so that you can speak, so that you can prophesy. You know what I'm saying? And when you minister and when you teach, rightly divide the word of truth. Because there's some brothers that's good at teaching. Some brothers good at ministering. Some brothers is good at bringing forth prophecy. Some brothers is good at exhortation. And those that do it with exhortation, let him do it with simplicity, not being complicated. You know. But so yeah, you're supposed to rock out with what the Lord gave you. But like I said, if a brother exhorted, let him exhort. And let him do it with simplicity. A brother that, a brother that may be an elder or a leader, let him rule with diligence, patience, honor. You know, he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. It's like, I don't know what's going on with me in that word, cheerfulness today. But yeah. So basically, rock out with what the Lord give you. If He gave you a certain portion, hey, you rock out with your portion and be glad. Sirach, chapter 10, verse 24. Wait a minute. Verse 26, Salaki. It says, be not overwise in thy doing business, and boast not thyself in the time of thy distress. So don't ever be overwise in doing the work of Yahweh Shemel Shah. Don't always be trying to be all super duper deep, basically. There will be times when the Lord give brothers deep topics, and you may have to watch that video a few times to get the understanding of what that brother means and what the Lord was saying through that brother. But don't try to be overwise in your doing business, like when you're doing the work of Yahweh Shemel Shah. And don't boast of yourself in the time of your distress. Something happened, I'm like, oh, I did this and that. No. Don't do that. Because then you're not really rocking out with what the Lord gave you. Verse 27, it says, better is he that laboreth and aboundeth in all things than he that boasteth himself and wanteth bread. So again, better is he that laboreth and aboundeth in all things than he that boasteth himself. When you boasting, you trying to make a name. You like, hey, look at me, pay attention to me. But then you lacking when it come down to it. It says, better is the man that laboreth and aboundeth. It's better to just do the work of Yahweh Shemel Shah and don't worry about your name being blasted all over everything. Just rocking out on the level and staying in your lane. It's that man is better than one that boasts of himself, that try to be like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, and wanted bread, i.e. he lacking understanding and lacking certain things and wisdom when it comes down to Yahweh Shemel Shah. So, you just rock out with what you got. Like with that Curtis Mayfield song, Diamond in the Back. Though you may not drive a great big Cadillac, you know what I'm saying? He said you can still be thankful for what you got. Sirach chapter 12, verse 20. It says, be steadfast in thy covenant, and be conversant therein, and wax old in thy work. So you be steadfast in the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? You be steadfast in the covenant. You stand strong. Strive for the Lord, and he'll fight for you. Strive for the truth, and the Lord shall fight for you. If I'm not mistaken, that's in Sirach. Chapter 4, verse 28. But be steadfast in the covenant, in the work, in the promise of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, and you be conversant in that. Meaning you speak the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, and you wax old in the work. You rock out with what the Lord gave you, basically. Last point. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. It says, but we will not boast of things without measure, but according to the measure of the rule which Yahweh hath distributed to us, a measure to reach even unto you. So when you rocking out with what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is giving you, you're not going to boast of things without measure. You're not supposed to. But according to what? The measure of the rule which Yahweh hath distributed to us, a measure to reach even unto you. So we're supposed to rock out with what the Lord gave us. Whatever portion that he gave us, that's what we're supposed to operate in. We're supposed to operate in that. So, rock out with what the Lord gave you. Whatever wisdom or knowledge and understanding that he has given you in this truth, don't be ashamed of it. Just rock out with what you got. The Lord will increase you in due time. And with that, shalom.